Hi, I'm Mystery Manilov. Today, I would like to talk about the subject of racism. I think racism is dumb, stupid, but you really can't get to the root of racist propaganda, racist ideas, unless you actually understand history, especially with our country. When it comes to America, most people use the argument that slavery was the worst possible thing that happened to our country because it only excluded or included, the slavery included black people, which is completely false. There were many other members of other races that were included in slavery. White people were into indentured servitude, for example, when the colonies were beginning in America. You pay by 7 years of work or whatever by coming over to America as payment for bringing you over here to a free country. And when the Constitution was written, the people were not completely free. I agree with that. And I also agree with the fact that it was more so than any other race, black people were enslaved. And I don't deny that one bit. But to say that the worst thing that happened to black people was slavery is completely incorrect. If you look back far enough into your family history, no matter where you're from, into the history of the species of human beings, in Homo sapiens, for example, you will find that slavery has always been a part of us. No matter what race, no matter what color, it's always been a part of our being. It has never been a think about it rationally. If you think about it, why would you yourself be working when you can make other people work if you've conquered those other people? Slavery was very much a part of prehistoric lifestyles, and that extended all the way into, well, for our country, into the mid 1800s. I don't deny that one bit, but I also will claim that everybody's fixated on slavery and said, well, white people enslaved black people, and that was horrible. And I agree, it was a horrible thing to do. However, I think the worst thing about our country is the Jim Crow laws, the segregation that happened afterward, where there was a mass murder all over the country ever since after the Civil War period to 1964. Even after that, there was some violence, but not nearly as much as between the Civil War and 1964. That was a horrible, gosh, that was like a really horrible period. And I think we all need to understand that it's not the slavery that was horrible, as horrible as the Reconstruction, the Jim Crow laws, the outright segregation of schools. There were black hospitals and white hospitals, and then there were black bathrooms and white bathrooms. There were black schools and white schools. That was probably the worst. That was institutionalized segregation. That was institutionalized. It was just horrible. I mean, there were lynchings and stuff like that. Also, when it comes to slavery, they didn't bring slaves over here to have them die on the ship. They didn't bring slaves over here to get them over here for free. They got them over here to get them to work. It's in the company's best interest to keep them alive, so they did. And also, they have a lot of business records showing the origin of a lot of black people, which is actually a very fortunate thing. Black people can very easily trace their roots if they go far back enough and know who their family members are. It's actually, I found it quite surprising, actually, to know how easy it is compared to other people looking back on their family history for the first time, to find their roots, to find what part of Africa they came from and stuff like that. It's actually quite easy to do compared to a lot of other races. So anyways, I thought that was quite interesting. And the other thing is, blaming one single race or making one race responsible for everything is not the way to go. It's just irresponsible. It's dumb. Come on now. I mean, we're 2,000 years after the supposed peace that Jesus Christ preached, and we can't move beyond race at this point, even after all of that. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Bible does mention slavery, but come on, I mean, how far are we going to take this issue? I think racism is just dumb. People like Louis Farrakhan and Malcolm X need to find a new job. I mean, racism is outright wrong and horrible. So, but I think in order to dispel that, we need to understand our true history. The Sphinx's nose was not knocked off because people tried to deny the black race. No, it had nothing to do with that. I mean, people use that sort of thing as propaganda to raise some eyebrows, but it doesn't mean shit unless there's evidence to back it up. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Take care.